Jishak Susol Guru Pema Siddhi Oma Benzar Guru Pema Siddhi Oma Benzar Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum 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 Om Ahum Om Ahum. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's our weekly practice service, Dharma service. Welcome to all the new participants, as well as all of the frequents and old users like me. I hope you're having a good week and a good Sunday morning. It's snowing and cold, but we can pretend, if we want, that it's a white sand beach and it's really warm. So we'll pretend whatever we want to pretend. Darn it. It's all an illusion anyway, right? So as we begin our weekly practice together here, it's important to remember what it is our intention is, and that's to relieve our own suffering. Start with our own. We always want to cultivate within before we share with others. And sometimes we get hasty in our sharing, and that's okay. When you feel depleted, that means you haven't really cultivated your own. So just let that be a sign for you to go back and really build the fire before you invite others to come and feel the warmth of that fire. So I've changed things up just a tiny bit. We're going to try a little experiment this week, as I do with the chanting, our monthly chanting. I've kind of thrown in some slides here that have the words to the prayers and things that we do. So we'll have a little. The only thing I don't have is a bouncing ball that takes you to it, but I'll put those up on the screen as we go, so be patient if I'm a tiny bit clunky. I'm kind of multitasking, which is not always what we want to do when we practice. In fact, we want to not multitask, but for the sake of inclusiveness and so that you can learn these chants and prayers, they're kind of phonetically spelled out when they are in Tibetan or Sanskrit, depending on the prayer. So I'm ready to get started. I hope you are. As always, we'll ring the bell 3 times, And we'll let that sound and vibration call us to our seats, call us into this present moment, the only moment, the most important moment, and call us into our practice together. We'll begin with the path-clearing and wish-fulfilling prayer to Padmasambhava, and then we'll follow that by our refuge prayer, which we'll say once in Tibetan and 3 times in English. Dosum Sangye Guru Rinpoche Nungdrup Kundak Dewa Chenpojab Barche Kunsel Dudu Drakpotel Solwan Depsol Jinji Lap Tu Sol Chinang Sangwei Barche Jiwadang Sampalunji Drupa Jinji Lob. Precious Guide, one with all the Buddhas of the 3 times, blissful presence and source of all spiritual accomplishments, fierce destroyer of illusion who dispels every obstruction, we pray to you for blessing, inspiration, and realization. Please remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles, and spontaneously fulfill our aspirations. Sangye Chodang Soki Choknam Zhongchu Badu Dakni Kapsuchi Dakji Chinsogi Pei Sonam Ki Drola Penshir Sangye Drupar Shok. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. The great Yogi Milrepa sang, "My body is the holy mandala itself, wherein resides the Buddhas of all times. With their blessings I'm freed from all needs and attachments. By day and night I offer them up, knowing that all beings in the 6 realms of samsara are inherently Buddhas, and all the 3 worlds the self-creating, measureless Trikaya Palace. Whatever I do is the play of the Dharma Dhatu, ultimate reality. Whoever I'm with is the Yidam deity. Wherever I stay is the Buddha's abode. Happy am I to forego outer supports, rituals, and symbols. So as we settle in and settle down for our practice, we're cultivating an awareness of unbiased curiosity, examination, when we can just sit and not be moved or drawn by our likes and our dislikes, then we can see our likes and dislikes as reactions and not as our true selves. Our true selves are unbiased. The Buddha within is unbiased. So we're cultivating that with our stillness. We close our eyes if we'd like, straighten the spine, begin to breathe with slow, long, deep breaths. Using the diaphragmatic breathing. Breathe in, belly moves out. Relax, belly moves in, breath moves out. So we can focus and intensify on the in-breath and relax and release on each out-breath. Remember that this moment, this one in between the past and the future, this one that we're living in right now, is the moment where all things, thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensation, life is arising. So don't squander that attentiveness by getting lost in thoughts that take us to the past or the future. Instead, stay right here. Cultivate that glowing, luminous awareness of just being here and now, present. We'll use some chanting this morning to help us to settle in and settle down. We'll use a purification mantra. It's a shortened version of our Vajrasattva mantra. Vajrasattva is the deity up here that helps us to let go of our attachments and purify right back down to our own clean Buddha nature. So we'll chant Om Vajrasattva Hung. Om Vajrasattva Hung. And as we wind that down, let yourself wind down with it. And then we'll begin sitting and breathing. Om Vajrasattva Hung, 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 Om Vajrasattva Hum, 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 Om Vajrasattva Hum. Just sitting, just breathing, just being. Settling in and settling down. To reveal our true Buddha nature. This awakened awareness. Feeling the breath as it comes and goes. Natural body, natural breath and energy, and natural heart-mind. Open, attentive, awake, and aware. Seeing through our unbiased consciousness. The lens of purity. No need to overcomplicate by attaching elusive thoughts, feelings, emotions. Simply rest in the ease of naturalness. Padme Hum. Om Mani 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 Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. By the blessings of the Triple Gem, may the minds and hearts of all beings be attuned to the sublime Dharma. Bless us to move forward on the path of true understanding. May the way be cleared of all impediments. Bless us that the elusive vision may appear in the light of the transcendent wisdom of Buddha. May all unskillful thoughts and actions cease to arise. Bless us with the awakening of true love and compassion. May all beings realize perfect enlightenment. So as we began to sit in our meditation, I talked about the true nature of mind, the Buddhahood, if you will, inside, within each one of us. Now, this is that enlightened nature that the Buddha and all the deities point toward. And this is that ability to find enlightenment within this human experience. So I'd like to point today in a more direct fashion. So as we think about that unbiased nature, I'm just going to call it that, the unbiased nature within us. That bit of us that is conscious without bias. Now, it may seem a little confusing because you think I feel my consciousness. We can all feel that, right? But we often hinder that consciousness within the human nature and combine the two. And they are not separate, so don't misread what I'm referring to, but if you think about that consciousness that can sort of see things, like when you can step back and see, that's me being angry or cranky or having an emotional reaction or you can see your thought, or you see the thought arising. I try not to say your because I don't want you to believe that the thoughts and the feelings and the sensations and the emotions are you. So when we think about it, about thought as a thing that arises, emotion as a thing that arises, sensations are things that arise within the experience. And the consciousness is that ability within us to see all of that. Where it gets clouded is where we have this human figure that pops up. So we'll call this Ronn, and we'll call the consciousness that can see Ronn as Pawo, right? So Pawo, the unbiased nature, can see the human nature. And the human nature has things like thoughts, feelings, and emotions that arise within the brain of this human nature, this human person. It has attachments to those feelings and emotions. You may have had a reaction when I said, they're not your thoughts, you are not your thoughts, because it feels like they are. So we get very trapped in this human thing, and this human thing thinks that the consciousness is part of the brain, where consciousness, in the sense of our practice, is throughout everything. This consciousness is the sort of breath and energy of everything. I should have brought it with me today, but there's a a little Zen story about two fish. And one fish goes to the other fish and says, "What is water?" And the other fish says, "It's that. It's all around you and in you. It's inescapable. It's part of you." And yet that first fish, who had the question about the water, not realizing it was surrounded by water, didn't realize it was surrounded and it was part of that water. Could not be apart from that water. And so is that consciousness. So is that pervasive consciousness that is unbiased. It's not grasping for anything. It's not looking for anything, because it is everything. There's no possession needed. There's nothing that goes away. There's nothing that begins. It's all part of that larger nature. Shunyata is the vast, luminous emptiness. That is that consciousness. Consciousness is a condition of that shunyata. And what we mean by emptiness is it's empty of bias. It's empty of need. It's empty of craving. And that is the core of our Buddha nature. So then we still have that human Ronn over here that has needs and wants and a whole lot of attachments. And it starts early. I mean, think about, picture your little infant self, and you were given that little toy, or your blankie, or your binky, or your teddy bear or doll that was mine. This is mine. And what happens the first time that you're bad? I'm going to take that away, punish you by removing what is mine, taking it away, but that's mine. And we have attachment. We start building from moment one. Mama leaves us in the crib. Where's the warm, friendly mama who feeds me and nurtures me? Mine. We start to build those attachments. That human form builds those attachments. And that's where suffering begins. It's where suffering begins and ends, quite frankly. All of those attachments. That is the root of all suffering. So think about when your human self is having a bad day. Why am I having a bad day? Why is Ronn having a bad day? And we can ask that question and observe ourselves, observe this human nature and this human experience, and really even diagnose, where am I feeling attachment? Maybe it's our human form is hurting or in pain or aging, and there's discomfort with that. Or maybe we felt rejected, or something that we possessed, we lost, or was stolen or broken or set on fire, fell to the bottom of a pool, and won't come back with rice. So we can search and find what is it, what attachment is bringing me this discomfort. And the part of you, the part of your human nature, that can see that discomfort, see that hurting, the fear, sadness, those all come from attachments. All the emotional reactions come from attachment. So when we can ask that question and see, it's because I was missing this, or this was taken away, or I was afraid that this was breaking down. And that's where our discomfort arises. So we can really, the teaching is to put all blames into one. Everything that feels wrong, feels like discomfort, dissatisfaction, suffering, can all be attributed to attachment. And maybe it's convoluted with fear or illusion that something was significant. And when you step away, or maybe it's years later and you look back and you think that was really, that thing that seemed so big was really quite insignificant. So there's a bias that is applied with the illusion of this human form being in charge, and it's the only thing, where this is really part of, and just an aggregate of, that larger nature. In Buddhism we call it non-dual. It means there's not two. There's not absolute reality or universal reality and then Ronn, separate. Ronn is part of the ocean of that consciousness and that experience. Ronn is the wave or the drop that comes from that bigger ocean, the shunyata, the consciousness. And that consciousness, remember, is unbiased. So when we're feeling bias, and you feel it specifically when something gets taken away, or you possess something, mine, that now we've triggered something that is discomfort, fear. So examine your personal experience and look for the attachment. Each moment that you feel not right, could be mad, sad, even glad, those are all pieces of and aggregates of the biased ego. And it's not wrong to have that. When we can see it as an aggregate and not the totality of our experience is when we start to be able to settle. Because we know that there is a settled place, that consciousness that needs for nothing, doesn't crave, has no aversion or attachment. Yeah. It's a bigger concept, but I want you to really think about it, and think the next time you are feeling anything but just calm and peace, look for the attachment. Look for that attachment. Begin to understand it through your own investigation and see that that is the root of dissatisfaction, the root of all suffering is attachment. Prove me wrong. With all of that, let's close today's service with the 4 Dharmas of Gampopa and Longchenpa, the prayer for 10 accomplishments, followed by our bodhicitta dedication. That's the heart, the awakened heart-mind, that when we find that calmness and the enlightened peace that comes from that we want that for all beings without any exceptions. Bless and empower us that our minds and hearts turn toward the Dharma. Bless and empower us that our Dharma practice becomes the path. Bless and empower us that the path truly dispels confusion. Bless and empower us that confusion itself dawns as primordial awareness. Rigpa. The prayer for 10 accomplishments by the Lama Suryadas. May we realize true sincerity and integrity, inner purity of mind, dispassionate equanimity toward all we see, right understanding of this dreamlike world and the next, loving compassion toward others and the genuine intention to be helpful in alleviating suffering and confusion. May we directly perceive the truths of impermanence, mortality, and interconnectedness, relinquish wandering thoughts and rampant desires, accomplish freedom of mind and clarity of spirit, remember with gratitude those who have gone before and shown the way, and vow to reach together full and complete enlightenment. Zhang Chup Sem Chok Rinpoche Makye Panam Ke Gyur Chi Ke Panyam Parme Payon Gong Ne Gong Du Perwar Shok. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. Body, speech, and mind directed toward awakening and for the benefit of all beings without one single exception. So don't forget, you can join me every day, either recorded or live, for our daily unmeditation, where we can sit in that stillness and begin to cultivate the understanding of that unbiased consciousness and what all it can see. When we touch that space, it's easy to return again and again once we've exposed it to ourselves. There it is. There's the calm peacefulness that's unbiased, but sees the bias as part of the aggregate of existence. So, come and join me each day. We'll meditate and explore. I'll see you soon. Bye now.